Welcome back. In this second of a two-part episode of Cisco Tech Talk, I'll finish explaining some basics for setting up Cisco Business Dashboard. Next. Before I jump back in, I want to note that all written CBD support documentation is available through the support page linked in the description. In addition, direct links to anything I will reference will be provided in a list at the end of this video. Okay, now in part one, I went over options for setting up the platform to run CBD. Once that's ready, you'll need to do the setup of the dashboard. The System Setup Wizard will guide you through the basic system settings. The settings must be consistent with your organization's infrastructure. One of the options you can decide ahead of time is the type of certificate you want to use. A certificate is necessary because when connecting to the dashboard, each device checks to ensure the certificate presented by the dashboard is valid and can be trusted. At installation, CBD generates a self-signed certificate to secure web and other communications with the server across the internet. You can keep this for a certificate. If you go through the System Setup Wizard, for the certificate option, you can simply renew this self-signed certificate by clicking Next, which is the default. When you log into the dashboard interface, you may get a security warning, but you can simply click to proceed. Other options, including obtaining a Let's Encrypt certificate or purchasing a certificate from a third-party certificate authority. An important part of this setup is the discovery and management of devices on each network. I'll start with your local network. If you are using a virtual machine or Linux to run the dashboard, you can simply enable the local probe right in the dashboard System Setup Wizard. It will perform network discovery and communicate directly with all the devices in your local network on behalf of the dashboard. Now, if you have remote networks, each one will need to be set up as either direct managed or probe managed. A directly managed network is set up so that all devices that need management have a direct association with the dashboard. This is recommended, but not always an option because each device needs to have the ability to act as its own CBD agent. The devices in the current Cisco Business Class portfolio have this ability when running the latest firmware, but some older equipment may not. To see if the devices in your network support direct management, check the device support list. If all your devices have direct management support, you should set up a directly managed network. There is no limit to how many devices can be directly managed, so it's a great option for larger remote networks. For guidance with setup, follow the direct management section of the Quick Start Guide and check out the Cisco Tech Talk CBD setup for direct managed devices. If you have a remote network that will be managed by CBD and the devices cannot be directly managed, you will need to select Probe Managed and enable a probe instead. There are a few options for a probe. If you have a small number of devices to manage and your equipment is up to date, you can enable an embedded probe on a switch within the remote network. A firmware wizard will guide you through this process. The embedded probe can manage up to 15 devices and 150 connected clients. Check that same device support list for a list of switches that have embedded probe support. If you have more devices or users than an embedded probe can handle, you can set up a software probe on the remote network instead. A software probe can run on a virtual machine, Raspberry Pi, or a Linux host. It can typically manage up to 50 network devices. Keep in mind that only one probe should be enabled on a remote probe managed network. On a directly managed network, you do not enable a probe. One last part of the setup I want to mention is entering the credentials for devices. It starts the discovery process, which takes some time. You'll see the devices being discovered and added to the inventory summary. As discovery progresses, the dashboard will provide an overview of the network infrastructure, and notifications will alert you to the changes in status. Here's a quick overview of all the resources we checked out today for reference. There you have it. There are plenty of customizations and other options with CBD, but that's the basics to get it up and running. Now that you have seen an overview and some options for setup, you can decide what will work best for you. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.